But we do not want you to go through these reasons and become an example, just like we did in our beginning stages.
Before you actually go into property, try to reverse engineer and see the steps the person was actually taking.
If you are in property business, you shouldn't take this for granted that some people do not know where to start.
You see the deal, you actually run the numbers, you contact the relevant people, right, and make the close as soon as possible. Hello.
Hi everyone, you are tuned into Nong. My name is Neo.
And I'm Lebu. We're really excited about this week, man. Our channel has been actually taking off, right? A lot of people are actually coming and saying, thank you guys for the content that you're giving us, but we'd actually like to dive in more, right? We actually, just to give you a quick recap, the last time we talked about having 3 people on mentorship, right? On our mentorship problem. And we have actually spent 15 hours giving content to these 3 people.
Today we're sitting on 187 subscribers. If you haven't subscribed, do the right thing so that you can be connected to relevant, exciting information that can actually help you in your property journey, whether you're at the beginning or you're currently in a problem or you just want to learn more.
So now, as we said, we actually were dealing with these 3 people, and these 3 people, they have or share the same similarities in terms of the problems that we have, right? So now we thought that why not actually give everyone else the problems that people are facing?
True. So now today's topic is 5 reasons why property investors fail. And the reason why we came up with today's topic is not to create fear why people fail, but rather things that you should be looking out. These are some things that we went through, or some things that our mentors went through, or some things that we read through the property books that we currently reading, so that you do not go into such, or you avoid such at all costs.
So now we'll give you from the least extreme to the most extreme, right? But now I think that all of them are extreme depending on which situation that you are in, right? So now, number 1, give it to us, man.
Not knowing where to start. I mean, with this one, how we actually came about it, we've been doing a survey with people that we've been interacting with. And now through the survey, we're asking relevant questions about the property network, property market. So now we saw that there's this similar point whereby people that actually do not know anything about property, they do not know where to start. And this thing is something that we shouldn't take for granted. If you are in property business, you shouldn't take this for granted that some people do not know where to start. From the information, from where to invest, like people do not have that knowledge. Where can I start my property portfolio journey?
I mean, a lot of people, right? A lot of peers of mine, right? We probably in the same age group, right? They're telling me that, no, man, I have to wait until I'm actually 30 years old so that I have a lot of money so that I can actually go into property. So now the problem is that you do not have the information, right, that will actually guide you on which way to actually take, which direction to actually take to invest in property, right? So now, a lot of people don't know where to start, right? So now, in you not knowing where to start, if you do not know where to start, right, watch this video right here, right, based on the 5 strategies that you can actually implement. I mean, this actually starts from someone who doesn't have anything to people that have a lot of money, right? So now, depending on your situation, this video right here will actually tell you where to actually start.
With where to start, you do not want to be caught looking at outcome over process. What am I saying by that? You read about books, somebody who's made it, or you know a neighbor who's made it within the property business, and you're looking, wow, that person made it. So now it's time for me to actually buy my own property so that I can be like that person. Not knowing that there's a process. So we like emphasizing this process over outcome.
Yeah, man. So now, a lot of things that we see, right? This, I'm sure you've actually experienced this, right? You going down the street, and now this person actually comes in with their big car, and they're telling you that they're investing in property, right? And you see the final outcome, right? So now, the first thing that comes to mind is, what is this person doing at that particular moment, right? Not knowing where this person actually starts. So now, before you actually go into property, try to reverse engineer and see the steps the person was actually taking. Number 2 is running the numbers.
This is my favorite. I mean, a lot of people are afraid of numbers, but it's very important,
right,
that
when you
know how to run the numbers.
Yeah, man, when you hear running the numbers, someone thinks, oh my god, maths. Oh no,
it is maths.
Yeah, man. So now this is very important, right? Be it in the starting phase, be it that you are going to be a deal sourcer, be it that you're going to buy properties. Before you actually buy properties, when do you make your profit?
before you even start by the planning stage, man. So you should, before you even dream about becoming a millionaire in property, guys, you need to know your numbers. I can't emphasize this more, because if you do not know numbers, you can make silly mistakes that you could have avoided before.
Exactly. So now, say for instance, you're running the numbers, right? And we're talking about ROI. What is your ROI, right? Your return on investment. So now you need to see if your investment, the investment that you're getting, is it going to be more than what you're getting at the bank or below what you're getting at the bank, right? So now it wouldn't make sense for me to run around to only get a 5% return, right? When I can actually take all of that money and put it in the bank and actually get a greater return, right? So now you need to know these things. What is my ROI, and is my ROI beating the current investment that I can get in the different banking institutions?
A practical example, man. So there are some people out there who are sourcing deals. So if this person doesn't know their numbers, and then they telling you that your profit will be at, your ROI will be at 60%, and then you get excited, wow, 60%, that sounds awesome, and you do not know how to run your numbers, this will be a problem. Even on the other side, if you did not run your numbers before you even went into that deal, and then you find yourself wanting whereby your expenses are more than your income, this will be a problem, because you'll not be cash flowing from month one, or you'll actually even run in the deficit after this whole deal.
I mean, this goes both ways for both deal sources and buyers, right? Deal sources, it would be a shock to actually present wrong numbers, right? To someone that actually knows the numbers, and they ask you what is the ROI, and you do not know the ROI. They ask you what does gross mean, and then you do not know what gross means, right? So now, from a sourcer perspective, you need to know what your ROI is.
The worst thing that could ever happen to you, imagine sitting with an investor, you're so excited that I'm going to be paid after this deal, and you can't justify your numbers. Hence, we emphasize on this one. This one, there's no escape, and there's no shortcut to it. You need to know your numbers when it comes to property investing.
Exactly. And we move on to number 3.
Over-leveraging and greed.
I mean, over-leveraging and greed could be one of the worst things that you do, right? So now, with regards to over-leverage, right? So now, say for instance, on the internet, there's a lot of people that are saying, man, you can buy your house and actually refinance the next day, right? But now, if you do not have the correct strategy, right, you can end up paying more than you can actually rent out your apartment for, right? So now, say for instance, you bought your apartment at your monthly bond, right? It's 10,000, right? And you can charge 12,000, right? And you go and refinance, right? Refinance the property, right? And then only to find out that your bond payment becomes 12,000, or maybe let's say 11,500, right? And then your water and electricity, your rates and taxes, your levies, and also your bond payments, and they reach to 13,000, right? And you can only charge people 12,000. That's already a problem, because now you have that 1,000 that you, as the property investor, need to balance. So now, do not over leverage in terms of that. And then now I think we'll explain the greed.
The greed part is that if you become too greedy at times, you can end up shooting yourself in the leg. What am I saying by that? Somebody would look at a property and be like, okay, I'm going to buy this property at 100. I'm going to buy this property at 1.2 million, and the rent that I'll be charging is 10,000. And then you think, no man, why should I be charging 10,000? How about I actually make it 20,000? Only to find out that the comps around that area, the houses that are renting around that area are renting at 9,000 to 10,000. And now you want to take it that step further. Or even worse, if I bought a house at 2 million, and then that's the market price. Okay, let's say I bought a house at 2 million, and the houses around that area are about 2.5 million. I cannot be greedy to a point whereby I want to sell mine at 5 million, and I'll be thinking wow, I'm gonna make 3 million from this deal. I need to take into consideration, how will the buyer actually react to this market? So I shouldn't be greedy. I should run numbers. If I know that, okay, I'm looking for 15%. I'm looking for a 15% return on your investment, I should stick to that. If that's why we always emphasize that you should have your rules of engagement that guide you. Rules of engagement that guide you when selling and when buying, because that will actually guide you towards having that price.
Exactly. And then the fourth one is that DIY, right? That DIY that we always like, right? do it yourself, man. If I can do it myself, then hey, I saved a lot, right? But now, not realizing that you're actually shooting yourself in the foot. I mean, we like using shooting yourself in the foot. Not realizing
army movies, man. It must be these army movies.
Not realizing that you're shooting yourself in the foot in terms of the long run, right? So now, say for instance, a mentor. This is the one that I love so much, right? Because now a mentor will tell you that for my time, I need to charge you 20,000, right? And you're like, no, man, 20,000 is too much. I can't pay 20,000 for someone to be my mentor. Not knowing that that mentor will actually stretch you, right? This mentor is the one that will actually be giving you tips on how to actually maneuver around the property industry, right? So now, having a mentor by your side actually helps you to leverage your time faster than you should, right? So now, say for instance, you didn't have a mentor, right? And you now always thinking of that, okay, I need to invest in property when I'm 30 years, right? Who's going to tell you that, no man, don't invest when you're 30 years old, you can actually go through deal sourcing? Or no man, don't do that, you can actually go through joint venture, whereby you and Nero are actually working on a deal together to actually give you that experience and get the money.
Do it yourself, man. It goes further than that, man. You can even look at accounting. You cannot say, you know what, I don't need an accountant. As long as my return on investment balances, I'm okay. Because now if you have somebody who's an accountant specialist, and then they can actually advise you in terms of taking advantage of tax rules, that will increase your speed of scaling up, and that can actually help you with regards to leveraging.
Yes, man. I think a lot of people actually have this problem of accountants. Thank you for raising that up, right? So now the problem is that once you think that you need an accountant, right? You say, no, man, I don't need the accountant, right? And then you keep on reinvesting the money, right? But now, not knowing that you need to file in for SARS, right? Yes. That's the tax guy, right? Not knowing that you actually need to file in for tax, and the tax guy won't actually run after you, right? They won't call you and say, hey man,
they don't have that time.
You need to pay me, right? Or as an employee, it's easier because now it's taken out from the money that you have, right? But now as an employer, as a business owner, right, you need to actually take the money to SARS, right? To the tax guy. So now, 5 years later, when now you owe around 5 million, then the tax guy will actually call you and say, hey man, you need to pay up. By that time, hopefully you have that money, because if you don't, it's a problem. So please stay away from DIYs. Have a power team that will actually help you and equip you with the relevant and correct information in terms of how to actually scale and how to do everything legally.
Number 5.
I think number 5 is the best, man. It's the best. I'm sure you can actually guess what it is, right? Implementation.
With this one, guys, it gets me excited, Liz. I don't want to lie, because you know we always talk about results. There's no point in reading 1,000 books.
There's no point in watching this video.
But there's nothing that I'm actually doing. Watching this video, we're not saying do everything the way we do things. As we said, we're creating an environment whereby we can share information and let us implement. There's no tomorrow, guys. With property, especially in the property industry, I know that you can call an estate agent and they'll have the sweetest deal for you today. And if you do not make sure that you run your numbers in time, that you call your power team to actually check if it's proper, and then you take your time only to call in 2 weeks from now, trust me, that deal will be gone.
I mean, this is like one of the deals that we were sourcing, right? In our beginning stages, we only had one property investor, right? So now from this one property investor, we produced the deal to them, and they were like, yeah man, let me just watch the numbers and I'll get back to you, right? After 1 week, the guy was actually excited and saying, hey man, let's go for the deal, right? When we called the estate agent back, guess what?
It was gone.
So now, implement today. If you see a good deal, call them today, close the deal as soon as possible.
But guys, with implementation, we're not saying that do things haphazardly. Make sure that you ran the numbers, make sure that you did the research, you called the relevant people to come and see that is that deal valuable or not.
No, that goes without saying, right? That goes without saying. We're not saying that you should actually look at a deal and then think that it's a good deal and actually run into it, right? You see the deal, you actually run the numbers, you contact the relevant people, right? And make the close as soon as possible.
So those were 5 reasons why property investors actually fail in South Africa. But we do not want you to go through these reasons and become an example, just like we did in our beginning stages. But we still keep on going, guys. I mean, you can fail, but as long as the ball keeps rolling, let's do this.
Hey man, please just comment below what was your biggest takeaway and what was your biggest failure, and what are you still going through right now as a barrier that stops you from taking action, man.
Hope you subscribed.
And please do like. Nong well.